ওকে, সো এর আগের পেজ থেকে তাহলে ফাইন। He must be an organizer of masses of men. Yes, I have highlighted this. That means that I must have taught this portion. So we will continue today from the next paragraph. What is Gramsci saying? If not all entrepreneurs, at least an elite amongst them must have the capacity to be an organizer of society in general, including all its complex organism of services right up to the state organism. So এর আগে অবধি আমরা পড়লেছিলাম about entrepreneurs, that how capitalist entrepreneur, even though they hire and employ other people, other specialists who are suppose they all have their special areas and special knowledges about one particular part of the entire process of production. We learned in the last class that the capitalist entrepreneur has an idea about more or less everything. কেউ কি কিছু বলছে? I think someone is unmuted. একটা আওয়াজ শুনতে পাচ্ছি কানে। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। Yes. So we learned that how the capitalist an entrepreneur must have an idea of more or less everything that is going on in his factory, in his industry, or whatever. Then Gramsci says that if not all entrepreneurs, if not all of those people who have the idea of the business, তারাই entrepreneurs হয়। entrepreneurs মানে হলো people who start with a small idea and they become big and big and big, bigger and bigger and bigger. So that is what we saw or read in the last paragraph, that how as the industry or as the organism of the factory grows, organism of the production unit grows, how more and more people must be employed, how more and more strata of the society gets included or involved in this production process. Now Gramsci says that even if it is not the case with all the entrepreneurs, then at least an elite amongst them must have the capacity to be an organizer. Elite amongst them. So if there is a group of entrepreneurs, that is, if there in the society, in our society, if there is a group of people who own the means of production, then there must be at least an elite among that group. Elite মানে কি আমি obviously বলেই দিয়েছি তোমাদের, that was a very elaborate lesson that I had posted. So যারা বুঝতে পারছো না, you must go back to that video. Elite মানে কি, elite their functions কি, how they have developed, everything has been explained in that particular presentation. So I am not explaining it anymore. বলছে এখানে যে even if it is not the entire group that owns the production units or has an idea about all of its components, then at least an elite amongst them must have the capacity to be an organizer of society in general. So he should have a general knowledge, as in a general understanding about how the production unit works, about how its complex system affects the society in so many various ways. ওই যে আমরা মার্কসিজম পড়তে গিয়ে যে ইকোনমিক ডিটারমিনিজম পড়ছিলাম, that the base will affect the culture, it forms the culture of the superstructure, it affects it in various ways, has various effects, there may be various causes for various effects. We had learned it when we were studying Marxism in general. Then he says, because why does an elite amongst them have must need to do so? Because of the need to create the conditions most favorable to the expansion of their own class, or at least they must possess the capacity to choose the deputies. This is very important over here, to choose the deputies to whom to entrust this activity of organizing the general system of relationships external to the business itself. Now this is where business, it overflows its own container. মানে if I imagine any business component or any industrial unit to be a part of the business sector. This is where Gramsci says that wherever the role of the elites come in, then see, it's written over there that entrust this activity of organizing the general system of relationship external to the business itself. Now, this is where the effects of any production unit are starkly seen or observed in the society, in the culture, and therefore becomes a the part of history, part of tradition. Did I তোমাদেরকে 21 pilots এর যে এক্সাম্পলটা একটা দিয়েছিলাম, did I provide you any example regarding 21 pilots? আমেরিকার একটা হিস্টোরিক্যাল ইভেন্ট, আমাকে বলো বলেছিলাম কিনা। I do not remember. বলিনি। So let me show you just one very good example that how production units or industries or elites can affect the culture of a society, thereby making it permanent in the history of any nation, in the history of the world, because the world remembers such events. So what was happening was, after the First World War, just let me cross check once if I am correct with the dates. Give me 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, so I'm writing it down over here. Just okay. I hope you can see the screen. I hope all of you can see the screen. So in 1947, there is a man called Arthur Miller who is writing a novel called All My Sons. So this novel is actually based on a true story or a true event that occurred just a few years ago, around 1941 to 43. So there was an event that was occurring in just a few years ago, 4 to 5 years ago. So what is happening? Just give me one moment, I will be back. Yes, so it is based on a true story. What happened over here was that there was a company called Wright Aeronautical Corporation. There was a company called Wright Aeronautical Corporation. It was in America. I'm talking about America. This is American part of American literature. So that is why it's a perfect example of capitalistic. What should I put? How should I put it? Capitalistic injections or the effects of high capitalism. You see, the time টা যদি তোমরা follow করো, you will see that this time was a very precarious time of the world wars. That was the Second World War, which was we would not be wrong to say that the Second World War was completely manipulated or maneuvered by United States of America itself, and that is the state where we find the most fertile grounds for booming capitalism, high consumerism, high exploitation of customers, increased standards of living, which of course makes the idea of America very clear that it is a rich and developed country based on super industrialization, super specialized industrialization. And that is of course true. All good electronic instruments, all good electronic cars, the medicines, they are all American made. So you have to move from China to America in order to show that your standard of living has also improved. If you are not using a Chinese instrument but an American instrument, it shows, it appeals to people that your standard of living has also improved. Now, this is how capitalism also affects the consciousness of any third world countries like India as well, that we try to equate our standards of living with the Americans. So, moving on to the story, Wright Aeronautical Corporation, it was based in America. It was in Ohio, and it had conspired with army inspection officers. So it was making, you can see, aeronautical corporation মানে aeroplanes or parts of aeroplanes বানাতো. So of course aeroplanes বানাচ্ছে যখন, and it is the second world war that is going on at that point of time, these aeroplanes would be sent, all industries or factories were employed for the work of the nation. So these aeroplanes, they were also to be sold to sold to the government, and they would be sent to work in the work in the war, in the Second World War. So what would happen was that very logically there would be inspection. The army would, the military personnel, they would send some of their employees to check or inspect the products that are made in the factory. And Wright Aeronautical Corporation, it bribed the military personnel because yes. So they bribed the corporation, the industry, or the industry owner. It bribed the military personnel precisely because of the fact, because at that point of time they were making huge business. They were already an established corporation and already an established factory, and there was no need. There was an extreme need for them to sell more and more, because it was time of the war. There was an emergency, there was complete crisis in any country, in America as well. যুদ্ধের সময় ওটা হবেই, however rich a country you are. Um, so as a result, they Wright Aeronautical Corporation, they wanted to keep on bringing in profits, because if they did not send this last lot of aeroplanes to the military would perhaps give the contract to someone else. Now you can also view it from a second perspective. আর একটা perspective এখানে আনা যায়, that you might ask that why did the military personnel accept the bribe? You see, the military is also nothing less than an industry. তোমরা যদি American history পড়ো, then you will see that the military was developed as nothing but a controlling agency of the vastly growing and developing country. The military was not only responsible, did not rise up in its status with the sole responsibility of protecting the country from external threats, but also to control the country itself, to control the country of America itself. So the military has a very big function in America. Not only border relations, it also controls a lot of the cultural relations that occurs within America. If you can read the developmental history of the US Army or US Military Association, you will see, you will of course be able to critically analyze its purpose in the country, its fuller purpose in the country. So they also accepted the bribe because they needed to send more planes into the war as soon as possible, and therefore they accepted the bribe. Now the question arises that why the bribe at all? এখানে ঘুষটার দরকারই কোথায় ছিল? দরকারটা ছিল because the planes were defective. The aircraft engines, they were defective, and that is why the corporation offered bribe to the military personnel, and the military personnel again accepted for the reasons that I just said. And this story of defective engines, it reached some investigators. It reached the investigators, and the news was known to Congress, and the employees of Wright Aeronautical Corp, they were also known, they were also informed about the situation. So now the biggest question is that what was the effect of this event? What happened as a result of this failure on the parts of people who have so much responsibility for the general mass, for the population of the country? See, one is selling in engines or aircrafts or whatever automatic components to the military. The one organization that countrymen or the nation, if I can put it like that, or any nation trusts with blind faith. We never question our army, do we? We do not question our army. If you question the army, then you will be given an adjective such as a communist, which is not a good thing in this state, which is not a good thing in this country, precisely because of the reasons that I am putting in front of you. But then again, of course, communism is not something that is very good in itself. There are shortcomings to communism itself. We have seen what kind of a failure the communist government has been in our state itself. So moving on from those debates and coming to the context, what happened over here was that there were 21 pilots. So there were 21 engines, there were 21 aeroplanes, and there were 21 pilots. All of them died. All of the planes crashed, and all of these pilots died. And there is also a band, American band, music band. No, it's not American. I think it is Finnish or something. There is a very popular musical band on their names, and their name is 21 pilots. Some of you must know. So all of these people, they died, and you can imagine the effect that it had on the entire country, because this was news. Journalists, there were the newspaper companies, they knew it. So this same engine, which is a metaphor for the human life, of course, the human life was treated as nothing but a product by the Wright Aeronautical Corporation, which is a capitalistic, profit-mongering company, an industry, a factory. The 21 lives, they were not even considered important by those very people who are accountable for these lives. The 21 pilots are a part of the bigger organization of the military. So this should also give you an idea that the bigger organization, the bigger capitalist organization, it does not actually pay any heed to whatever kind of life you throw at them. No heed at all. I am not even talking about animal cruelty over here. We are just talking in human terms. So these lives were not even held accountable by they were not taken the responsibility of by the very organization that owned them. It affected this incident. These lives were then again used as a product by the media, by the journalists, by the newspapers, by the newspaper agencies, which circulated them and recirculated them and kept the news alive, very much like what is going on over here in India with the current media industry. Imagine the effect that it had on the family of the pilots, family which is the smallest unit of the society. The first unit that makes a society is the family. Imagine the families, how the families were affected. Imagine the stories that the families remember and imagine the stories being circulated again and again and staying as a part of the cultural history of America, that something like this happened. So Gramsci যে এখানে যেটা বলছে, that entrust the activity of organizing general system of relationship external to the business itself, this is one example of an external effect that the base or the means of production or any capitalistic society might have, may have, or in many cases will have in the society. I just gave you an example, but of course Gramsci is not talking about any negative effects over here. He is pro communism, so that is why whatever he is saying, it is always from an optimistic point of view, as we will learn as we move on with the essay. But এত অবধি আপাতত কোনো রকমের সমস্যা, কোনো প্রবলেমস থাকলে then please come up, please speak up or write if you want to do that. Alright, so I will move on then. It can be observed that the organic intellectuals, which every new class creates alongside itself and elaborates in the course of its development, are for the most part specializations of partial aspects of the primitive activity of the new social type which the new class has brought into prominence. Okay. So what is being said over here? It's very simple. Again, he's saying that it can be observed. Gramsci is saying that if you observe, you will find out that the organic intellectuals, which I have already spoken about, organic intellectuals are just what the name suggests. These intellectuals are already a part of the group which they represent. So they are not elected or they are not selected from any outside source. For example, if the body of teachers, that is a body of intellectuals, then any organic intellectual will be anyone among this body of teachers, this group of teachers who represents us. So that representative is not someone who is outside of this group or the body of teaching profession or teachers as professionals. And what is being said here is that for the most part specializations of partial aspects of the primitive activity of the new social type. So lots of adjectives over here saying for the most part specialization of partial aspects. For example, if there is a group or body of teachers, so there are many teachers across the country, across the world. So I am talking in a microcosmic level, jodi ami khali amar rajyer kotha boli. So in my state, suppose there are 14,000 to 15,000 teachers. Now for the most part they are specialization of partial aspects of the primitive activity. Primitive activity is of course the original activity, that is of teaching. Partial aspects means teaching of a few subjects and being specialized in those subjects and knowing all the others, but not having a very profound and specialized knowledge about the other subjects. That is what is being told over here. Specializations of partial aspects of the primitive activity being the original activity of teaching, of the new social type. New social types means the professional intellectuals of teachers, which the new class has brought into prominence. Means it is specializing. Suppose there is a teacher who specializes in Dalit studies. Suppose there is a teacher who specializes in the language of Urdu. So this intellectual who is a specialist in teaching Urdu is the new social type, because he himself will influence students, will influence other people to become like him, to learn about the culture, the language of Urdu, and become specialists in them too. So he has a double influence. This new social type who specializes, who is a teacher, who of course has the original activity of teaching, but some of its aspects, some of its methods, some of its subjects he has specialized in. We are supposing that is teaching of Urdu, or the culture of or the language of Urdu. It is a highly specialized subject. So the language of Urdu, that is a partial aspect of this language teacher, and he or she specializes. He learns and gathers newer knowledges and very concrete and profound knowledges about it, and he becomes a specialist. He becomes a specialist in the language of Urdu. So this person, this specialist, this teacher who specializes in a particular subject is the new social type, which this entire class of teachers has brought into prominence. Of course, the entire body of teachers, the entire body of intellectuals are responsible for giving this specialist, this Urdu specialist, a space to grow, the reason to grow, the monetary equivalent to grow. Of course, beton to dite hobe, monetary equivalent to grow, places to study, opportunities to create his own niche. Niche mane? Niche. Create his own niche. So of course, the entire class helps in bringing up the specialist intellectuals. So I just gave you an example of my profession. You can take up the example of the profession of journalism. There are so many specialists in the profession of journalism. There are criminal journalists, there are sports journalists, there are education journalists, there are so many, but there is a bigger class of journalism, or the bigger class of the professionals of journalism, who help this new social type of a specialist to grow, to gives space, gives opportunity, gives reason, gives monetary equivalent, gives all the favorable conditions. এই যে আমরা আগের প্যারাগ্রাফে এখানে পড়েছিলাম, there was a favorable condition, এখানে পড়ছিলাম, আমি এখন খুঁজে পাচ্ছি না, but I'm sure that এই তো, because of the need to create conditions most favorable to the expansion of their own class. Yes, because for the Marxists, for Gramsci, even history is a struggle among classes. So everything for him is a struggle among classes, and if there is a struggle among classes, and if there is some particular specialist in an area, then of course he will belong to one particular class, and of course that particular class will create or maintain all the favorable conditions for the improvement and for the growth of its own class, making this specialized intellectual, this organic intellectual, a representative, a highlighted portion of its own class. Is it clear up to now? Anyone has any queries, any problems, any issues? Anyone wants me to repeat anything? All right, I will move on then. The next marked portion, thus it is to be noted that the mass of the peasantry, although it performs an essential function in the world of production, does not elaborate its own organic intellectuals, nor does it assimilate any stratum of traditional intellectuals. Although it is from the peasantry that other social groups draw many of their intellectuals and a high proportion of traditional intellectuals are of peasant origin. Okay, so এখানে কি বলছে? Yes, so before I explain this, you can see there is a superscript over here, এখানে একটা marking করা আছে, which leads us to this portion that you see at the end of your screen. এখানে কি বলছে? Gramsci's general statement or general argument here as elsewhere, so there is another text of him where he repeats this statement. You have to note it down, whatever you see in here, because you need to incorporate these in your answers. So there is another text by Gramsci called the Quaderni, in which he expresses a similar view. He says that rural type intellectuals, rural type, দেখো এখানে প্রথমে লেখা আছে rural type intellectuals. Let me change the color of this. Yes, rural type intellectuals, Gramsci says, is that person of peasant origin who becomes an intellectual, bracketed, written priest or lawyer, etc., generally thereby ceases to be organically linked to his class of origin. One of the essential differences between, say, the Catholic Church and the revolutionary party of the working class lies in the fact that ideally the proletariat should be able to generate its own organic intellectuals within the class and who remain intellectuals of their class. So this is a very important explanation that we have over here. কি বলছে এখানে? See, first Gramsci has mentioned, Gramsci says over here that it is to be noted, he says that it is to be noted that a mass of peasantry, although peasantry money is talking about farmers, rural intellectuals, people who are involved there, even if they are not directly farmers, but they are involved in the profession of agriculture, in the profession of farming. So these people, even though they perform very essential functions in their own class, they do not elaborate this class of peasantry, they do not elaborate its own organic intellectuals. Why? Because the reason he gives over here, because Gramsci says, he observes, this is of course a conclusion drawn from an observation. He says because that the person of origin, the rural type intellectuals, the person of peasant origin who becomes an intellectual, যদি intellectual হয়ে যায় তাহলে he goes to a different profession. He becomes a priest or a lawyer rather than a peasant scientist, rather than a peasant lawyer. He becomes a priest or a lawyer because those are the higher end classes than the farmers, of course, generally, and therefore generally ceases thereby to be organically linked to its own class of origin. Of course, he is removing himself from his own class, his functions. Whenever this rural type peasant becomes an intellectual, it is most of the times intellectual of a different class, of a different profession, not belong to his own rural class of intellectual, not belonging to his own profession of farming or farming related activities. He becomes a priest, he becomes a lawyer, he perhaps becomes a broker, he perhaps becomes a politician, therefore thereby ceases to be organically linked to his own class. Now Gramsci puts a very essential point in favor of communism or favor of his own political party. He says that this is where a fundamental difference lies between the Catholic Church and the Revolutionary Party. Catholic Church বলার কারণটা এখানে because at that point of time or before that point of time, the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, the Church of England, if in that case, all these churches, they were the sole rulers of the social order before or up till that point of time. So it was the church that was ruling. So Gramsci puts forward this idea that the basic difference between the Catholic Church and the Revolutionary Party, that is the party of Lenin, he is talking about Vladimir Lenin, the Revolutionary Party, is that the Revolutionary Party would try to retain or to keep its own organic intellectuals from going away to a different profession, and thereby causing profits, making improvement from that for that class, for the class of lawyers or priests or whatever profession he belongs to, rather than improving the quality or improving the overall standard of its own class. A revolutionary party will try to stop this phenomenon that he explains over here, that a mass of peasantry does not elaborate its own organic intellectuals. The revolutionary party বলছে এখানে that revolutionary party of the working class lies in the fact that ideally the proletariat, that is the communist, that is the revolutionary, should be able to generate its own organic intellectuals within the class and who remain intellectuals of their class. কেন এটা হচ্ছে? কারণ communism was a result, communism, the overall sentiment was a result of acute corruption in the church, in the capitalistic setup of the society. There were no jobs, there were jobs only for the rich, the poor were becoming poorer, social conditions were extremely poor, and as a result the revolutionary party, which is a representative of the communist ideals, Lenin's party, it sought to create employment and thereby sought to retain or make the intellectuals of their class remain in their own organic profession. It was the job or the responsibility of the revolutionary party to provide these organic intellectuals with the opportunity to progress, the opportunity for growth, the space for a dignified living, which the Catholic Church would not do. So if you are a farmer who specializes, suppose you have a profound knowledge of seed variation, of how to hybridize seeds, or which pesticide or which chemical to use on which crop, and you are a highly specialized individual who has a very specialized knowledge in these fields, the Catholic Church, for example, any system of authority which is against the revolutionary party, it would say that you are too much specialized in your work and I do not need your specialization, because I cannot pay you, because I cannot give you a proper designation to work with, a proper employment opportunity. So what this person would do, this person would take up his knowledge, would take up his specializations and go to work with a factory that produces chemicals and pesticides, and thereby changing his class origin, working for the factory, which in turn works for the capitalist government. However, the revolutionary party would try to retain this person, would create the atmosphere, would seek to change the agricultural situation altogether, so that the specializations of people like this can be employed in the very place in which they are born. So this is what Gramsci puts forward. So is it clear up till now? Does anyone have any question to ask? Okay, we will learn some more and then for 5 more minutes, and then I will give you attendance. Okay. However, Gramsci says every essential social, okay, I have not marked this, so we will not read this. Okay, so now we move on to the categories of intellectuals. Just one moment. Okay, now we move into the category of intellectuals. He says over here, what happened over here? One moment. Okay, what did I just do? Okay, let it be. So here he's saying that, see, you can see, I hope it's underlined, categories of intellectuals already in existence. So now he wants to talk about the category of intellectuals already in existence. He says that the most typical of these categories of intellectuals is that of the ecclesiastics, who for a long time, for a whole phase of history, which is partially characterized by this very monopoly, held the monopoly of a number of important services. Religious ideology. A very interesting sentence. First of all, ecclesiastics means all those people who are invested in the in religion or with religion. যেটার কথা একটু আগে just বলছিলাম, the Catholic Church. So now Gramsci, this is what an intellectual or a research essay is all about. Gramsci did not just end it over there. He did not say that Catholic differences between the Catholic and the Revolutionary Party is that the former is bad. It is not that he said that and left it over here, left it over there. Now he is giving us a reason that why am I saying that a revolutionary party is much better than a Catholic church. So this is how he gives his reason. He talks about the ecclesiastics, or anyone who is invested in the profession in a profession related to religion. Then he says, who for a long time, as I was saying, for a whole phase of history, which is partly characterized by this very monopoly. Of course, Victorian England, if I'm to talk about England over here, Victorian England, then before that, we had the 17th century, we had the Restoration, the England during the Restoration, where there was a whole debate about which political party should rule, which was obviously based upon their religious affinities. There were the Catholics and there were the Protestants. Before that, there was a whole new sphere during the Elizabethan age, and prior to the Elizabethan age, there was a whole new war that was going on regarding religious affinities. So, if I am to talk about England, or which was the heart of Europe, it affected the entire European culture. So, for a whole phase of history, this historical phase was characterized by the role of the ecclesiastics, or by the role of the Catholics and the Protestants, or any person of religious community. So he is saying that the ecclesiastics held a monopoly of a number of important services, religious ideology. So religion here enters the sphere of ideology. Then he says that is the philosophy and science of that age. So I have written my observations over here. I cannot shift it to this side, just one moment. Yes. So you can see, I hope you can understand what I have written. Just one moment. Yes. So I've written that religious ideology is when religion, as the object of inquiry, the ideological apparatuses of scientific tools, means, instruments, legitimized to gather the said inquiry, thus making religious ideology both its own object and subject. What does this mean? It means that, what does the phrase religious ideology mean? It means that if you remember the definitions or the explanations that I have provided about ideology, so what I have written over here is that religious ideology is when religion becomes an object of inquiry. Of course, you want to know what a religion is about, how has it developed, whatever it is to know about a religion. ধার্মিক হওয়া মানে ধর্মের ব্যাপারে জানা, So it becomes an object of inquiry, something to know about. Religion as an object of inquiry, and the ideological apparatuses. The ideological apparatuses mean the system through which religion will spread its knowledge. Apparatuses mean the system will spread its knowledge through scientific tools, means, instruments, various means, various instruments, or various books of religion, various phenomenon which are scientifically proved, yet they add to the glory of God, because all the facets were owned by the church at that point of time. So the teachers, they were priests, as there are still there are so many colleges all around the world, colleges and institutions where teachers are priests. আমাদের কলকাতাতেই অনেক ছিল, এখনো আছে, but of course the number of such teachers are very very less. However, so they are priests, so their teaching method will always be oriented through the light of religion. So all these means, all these instruments, all these tools of spreading the knowledge about this particular religion, they are legitimized, they are made authentic, they are shown to be authentic, they are shown to be real and proved by the religious authority itself, because remember, they are at the power, they are at the helm of the society, at the peak of the mountain. So they are the ones who legitimize these means, the ways, the methods to spread knowledge about its own, about the same religion. They are all legitimized, made authentic to gather this same inquiry. Thus religious ideology rather becomes its own object, that is, religion itself is the object of inquiry, and religion also is the subject that legitimizes it, that makes the knowledge authentic, that says that yes, this gained knowledge, gained by the means that I have allowed, is correct, and that knowledge gained by the means which I have not allowed is wrong, is incorrect. This is how religion becomes an ideology. It falsifies our consciousness towards any religion. So এই জন্যই বলছে এখানে that the ecclesiastics played a number of important services. Religious ideology, that is the philosophy. I will just finish this paragraph. তোমরা একটা স্ক্রিনশট তুলে আমায় পাঠিয়ে দাও, আমি অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সে দিয়ে দেবো. That is the philosophy and the science of the age, together with schools, education, morality, justice, charity, good works, etc. The category of ecclesiastics can be considered the category of intellectuals organically bound to the landed aristocracy. কেন? যে কোনো ভিক্টোরিয়ান ইংল্যান্ডের মুভি তুলে দেখো, watch Pride and Prejudice, you watch that movie of Keira Knightley, where Keira Knightley, যেখানে যেই মুভিটাতে যেই ভার্সনটাতে Keira Knightley আছে, you will find that all the ecclesiastics, they were living in houses that were situated on huge estates owned by the aristocrats, owned by the princes or the principal authorities of the land, owners of the land. So that is why Gramsci says that the category of ecclesiastics can be considered the category of intellectuals organically bound to the landed aristocracy. It had equal status juridically with the aristocracy, with which it shared the exercise of feudal ownership of land. Just what I said, they were partial owners of the land, the other part, and partially that same land was owned by the aristocracy. So they belonged to a same class, and the use of state privileges connected with property. এটা দরকার নেই, ছেড়ে দাও, connected with property. But the monopoly held by the ecclesiastics in the superstructural field, that is the culture that is produced by the base. So if the landed aristocracy and the ecclesiastics controlled the base, the owners of knowledge, the owners of land, the owners of agricultural production, it was only the ecclesiastics who had profound effect on the superstructural field, because religion, you can understand, is very intricately linked with culture. And if the ecclesiastics are involved with the philosophy of the age, with the science of the age, with the schools, with education, with morality, with justice, charity, good works, etc., then they are of course already present in the culture. মানে কর্ম আর ধর্ম যেরকম সিনোনিমাস শুনতে লাগে, সেরকম মানে আমি আলাদা করে দিতে মানে কোনো 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 সমাজেই, কোনো এক ধরনের সমাজেই এই দুটোকে আলাদা করে ধরে না। তুমি আর আমি লিবারাল হিসেবে ধরতে পারি, as liberal intellectuals we can consider that, but if I consider the body of my society, it does not hold work and religion separate from each other. One is influenced, one is inspired, one adds or one adds meaning, signifies the other. সব ধর্মেই তাই, সব ধর্মেই। Then what he says is that is not exercised, but it was not exercised, but this monopoly was not exercised without struggle or without limitations, and hence there took place the birth in various forms of other categories, favored and enabled to expand by the growing strength of the central power of the monarch. 15শো শতাব্দী থেকে ইংল্যান্ডে কি হচ্ছে, আস্তে আস্তে কিং হেনরি দ্য ফিফথ, কিং হেনরি দ্য সিক্সথ এরা আসছে। Now these Henrys, they were revolutionaries in themselves. Henry the Fifth wanted divorce to be sanctioned. ও মানে একজন একজন করে বিয়ে করতো, আর তারপরে পছন্দ থেকে পছন্দ মানে কমে গেলে আর কি আরেকটা বিয়ে করতে চাইছো। এবার Catholicism did not allow divorce at that point of time. So what he did was that he found out and he invented a different law and he legitimized it with his own power of being the monarch, and he made divorce legal just so that he could marry someone else. So if we do not consider that debate, and this is then correct what Gramsci says, that যেখানে বলছে the central power of the monarch, growing strength of the central power of the monarch right up to absolutism. Thus we find the formation of nobilis de robe, with its own privileges, a stratum of administrators, scholars, scientists, theories, etc. I will stop here. Nobilis de robe টা কি পরের দিন explain করে I will continue. So আমাকে কি স্ক্রিনশট পাঠিয়ে দিয়েছো? I think yes. All right, just one